Hey there, you Starfield addictees just like me that are into the shipbuilding. This is your hostess, Daywalker, and I'm back with another one. This one is my second from scratch ship. I call it Red Dawn 3, and I basically kind of wanted this V-shaped ship, but it ended up looking like one of the Star Wars ships. I don't know. I was kind of going for a V shape and kind of ended up morphing into this. I do think it looks kind of cool. It's massive though. Its size is over 3,000 in mass and it's kind of a little bit sluggish. I don't have as great a mobility on it as I would like to have. So it's a little bit sluggish, but it still does the job. It probably isn't one of my favorite ships, but I think it's definitely one of the most, well, I wouldn't say it's the most unique. I think that goes to Dragon Breath, but it's different. And again, this was from scratch. I didn't buy a ship, I just created this. So let's go ahead and tour it, and then I will show you the breakdown and build on this one. One nice thing I like about this is that there's only a couple of floors and there's only one ladder in this. So I do like that a lot. I try to keep it that way if I can. And there's quite a few habitats in here. So we come into this storeroom, which is one of the Teos bottom storerooms. So it's very clean. We open this one up and we go into a second storeroom, and this is where the ladder is. This ladder obviously takes us out to the docking bridge as well as up to the second level. But before we go up there, we're going to take a look back here, and we've got engineering down here in the belly. So this is the engineering. And this is the Teo engineering. So it's got the workstations here in the back. And that's the 3x1. All right, so let's go ahead and go up. I used a lot of the Teo habitats. I do have some Stroud in here, but most of them are all the Teo. All right, so once we come up the ladder here, if we go this way forward, we've got a control station, and then we have the CP220 cockpit, which I use pretty consistently in a lot of my builds. Then if we come back this way and off to this side, we have just a storage unit. And then go down to the back of the ship. We have a bridge, a 2x2 bridge. And off from this side of the bridge, we do have storage and then a 2x1 living area. We have two separate areas that are like that, where I have like, off on, living areas. This one walks into the mess hall. This is a 3x2 mess hall. And off the one side, we again have the living area here. And then we have the big mess hall here. So this is the big 3x2 Teo mess hall. So that's pretty much it. Everything is pretty open. So basically, and then go up to the next floor, the final floor, the third floor. And we walk out into a storage room here, companionway, and then into, this is the captain's quarters. No, this is the 3x1 living area. That's what this is. This is a 3x1 living area. and then the captain's quarters here, back here. So that's what's on the third floor, is the primary living quarters here. That's it. So one major bridge going to 3 floors. So let's take a look at how this is built. Okay, we're going to look at some statistics. Can't even talk today. So here we are. You can see the build of it there. It is a Class C ship. Has crew of 12. I think that's the biggest I've ever built with crew size. Put 12 people on here. I don't even think you could recruit 12. It has the max jump. It has 2880 in shield. And then the mass is over 3,600 mass. So it's a pretty good size, beefy machine. It has the cargo is 4520, of which, what did I say? The 1280 of it is the shielded type. So quite a bit of shielded as well as unshielded. And then the mobility is at 87, top speed's at 130. I always prefer to have my mobility a little bit higher, but I don't have it in this case, and that kind of causes a bit of a problem. But so this is the ship, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear it apart in sections, probably layers actually, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about the parts and put it together. Okay, we're going to go through each of these sections, the top layer, the mid layer, and the bottom layer individually. And I'm just going to kind of point out the pieces rather than trying to tear it apart and put it back together. Because everything is kind of flat, it's easy enough to point them out, and then you'll just know the locations. So we're going to start with this, we're going to start with the top layer, this one right back here. Let's kind of zoom in on this top layer. Move this out of the way, actually. Move that over a little bit. Get this kind of more centered here. Okay, so looking at this top layer, I'm going to start here in the front. We have a cowling, Nova cowling, 1 LTF. Attached to that is the comm spike and the conduction grid and the scanner jammer, scan jammer. You won't get the comm spike or the conduction grid unless you've completed the storyline with the Crimson Fleet. You won't have that available to you unless you have completed that quest line. And then I believe it's only available through the Crimson Fleet. And if you beat them and chose the Vanguard, I think the only way to get it at that point, I think, is to use the mod that I use that gives me all the parts. If you leave it off, it's not a big deal though. The scan jammer, that comes from the Starship guy at the Red Mile. So if you go to the Red Mile and you go in, he's just to the right after you go in. He's sitting in an little office right there. He has those. He also has the shielded cargo, if you can't find it in the outpost. Most of the items are available through the outpost. There's just very few that are not, and I'm going to put that in a list right at the end here. Okay, next pieces, we've got this piece right here is the Nova cowling. This is the 2LSF, and on the other side we have the PF, so they're just a flip of each other. On top of that, we have the Fulminator 8000 suppressors. There are 2 on this side and 2 on this side. In the middle here, we have the Stroud mid bracers. We have 1 there and 1 there. And then on top, we have the Deimos Spine A and the Deimos Spine B. on which we have the Vanguard Hellfire autocannon. There are 6 of these autocannons. Okay, going the next spot back here, we have a Nova Galactic storeroom, 1 by 1. On top of that, we have the Spine C, the aft version, and 2 more of the Hellfire autocannons. So that's this section right here. All right, so let's move to the next row. On here we have the Atlanta 280C missile launcher. I think that's how you say it. There's 1 on each of these wings. These are the Nova wings, starboard and port. And then we have 2 more of those Stroud bracers on each side, the mid bracers. And then in the middle, we have the Stroud all-in-one berth 3 by 1. So that's in the middle. We have the Deimos bumper. This is the starboard mid version. There's 2 of those. And then there's the bumper starboard aft version here. On the other side, we have the starboard port mids and the port aft versions on this side. And basically it's the bumper, and then you just use next variant and you'll get the variants, the differences, and then you can flip them if you need to. Going down this side here, we have again the mid bracers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them. Going along down the side and across and back. There are 12 of these mid bracers. We have the shield here, the Assurance SG 1800 shield generator. And then we already talked about the all-in-one berth here. On top of that is the Spine B. And then a Spine C4. Got another one of the Hellfire autocannons. Another Spine B. Another Spine C. And then finally a Spine A with another one of the missile cannons on it. So that's all that's on the top. So basically most of it's decorative. The only habitat pieces that you have are the storeroom, the 3-in-1 all-in-one 3 by 1, and then the captain's quarters. That's it. So those are the only ones that you have that are habitats. All the rest of it is decorative basically, and weapons on this layer. Okay, so let's go to the mid layer. So we're going to start up front just like we did on that one. We'll start here with the CP220 cockpit by Viking. On either side of that we have Nova wings. And here we have 2 more of the Vanguard Hellfire autocannons. Okay, right behind that we have 2 more of the Nova Cowling 2LSFs and PFs. And then right up next to the cockpit, we have the tail control station, the 2 by 1 mid, because it's kind of in the mid. So that's right there, so that when you walk in a cockpit, you've got that right next to it. Okay, next row over, and there are quite a few of these Deimos bumpers. You're going to see more and more of them. We've got them all along the sides here. Got another mid bracer. This one is the tail storeroom mid. This one is a tail storeroom mid. Here's another bumper. And again, another bumper. This is the H30 Atlas helium tank. Next to that is the Stroud all-in-one berth 2x1A. The B is back here. This is the battle station 2x2 mid. Next to that is another of the H-30 Atlas helium tanks and another bumper. Another bumper here, mid bracer. We already talked about the battle station. We already talked about the berth. Another one of the mid bracers and a bumper. It's pretty consistent across most of this. Okay, so then we have down this row, we've got the bumper, mid bracer, bumper, and then this is a Stroud all-in-one berth 2x1B. So we have an A version and a B version. This is the mess hall, 3x2 mess hall, mid. We have another bumper, another bracer, and another bumper. This row has a bumper, bracers, bumpers, and then you've got this. That's all that's here is the on these are just the bumpers here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 6, if you kind of want to count this one, of the mid bracers. And it's the same on the other side. So we just have one little storeroom right back here, and then we have the bumpers, bracers, bumper, bumpers here, and bracers here, just like the other side. To finish off this midsection in the back, we have our engines. This is the SAL 6830 engine. This engine can be found at, let's see, 6830s. The Stroud Eklund location on Neon. We have the Deimos Bracer A. We have the Poseidon engine. And the Poseidons can be found at the Alpha Centauri at New Atlantis. Well, then you got 2 of those, another bracer, and then your second SAL 6830. And that's it for the mid. That's it for the middle. So other than habitats and those bracers and bumpers, there's not a lot to this layer. See that back there. Okay, and then the final layer on the bottom here, we have the Shipbed 200 landing bay, and then it has a storeroom, bottom B, right behind it, with 2 bumpers, one on each side. We have a companionway right next to that. That's where our ladder goes up. Okay, so the one and only ladder from the first to the second to the third floor goes up through this. Underneath of that, we have the slim docker. And then to each side, we have these NG20 landing gears. Those are available in New Homestead on the planet Titan in the Sol system. Okay. And then we have here the engineering bay 3x1. That's the bottom version. We have 2 more of the NG20 landing gear. We have 2 of the 10 ST hauler shielded cargo holds. 2 of them here. We have 2 more of the landing gear. And then we have 2 of these Galleon S204 cargo holds right here. And then 2 more of these 10 ST hauler shielded cargoes. So there's a total of 4 of the shielded cargoes and 2 of the unshielded cargoes that give us all of our cargo space. And then last but not least, here in the back, we have the reactor, which is a Pinch 8Z reactor. And you can get this in Hopetown on the planet in the Velo system. And then this is the J52 gamma drive. And then you have on each side of that, you've got the Atlas helium tanks again. So there are a total of 4 of the helium tanks. And that is it for the parts list. Oh, I do believe we have on each side of the landing bay, I do have horizontal weapon mounts. So we do have those. I forgot to put those on. And I believe that is it. So what we do, we're going to take the midsection, pick it up, bring it back here and pop it on top of the lower section. And you can see how it pops right in there. Got in the back between the engines and the rest of the bays there, that's where your reactor and stuff are going to go. So just plop that down and then pick up this section, pick it up, and it's going to come right over and it's going to get right on top right here. Is it there or there? Nope, here. And we're just going to plop that down. And there you have it. So, and the way I colored it, I chose everything, color, and I started off with color number 1 being the red. So just take these and you move them all the way to the right, all the way over to the right. That gives you your red. The second color, I also did the red. So move it all the way over. And the final color 3, I did the gray. That's standard here. I believe that's how I had it. Let's check it out and see. There it is. It's all built. Now, I'm going to tell you there's a caveat. I am using a mod, and it is called, let me bring this up here real quick. Ultimate Shipyards Unlocked. Okay, this mod is what gives me all my parts in one location. Okay, so I don't have to go running around trying to find my parts. When I took that off to check to see which parts were not included in the outpost parts, I got errors on this saying that it was too long and that it had too many modules on it. When I deleted like 3 or 4 modules, then that error went away, but it still stayed too long. You may have to adjust this and maybe pull your engines and this section right here and pull it up and stack it on top of here, or do something like that to make this shorter. Pull this engines up and put it, you know, here instead of this bracer. You know, you may have to play around with a little bit if you're not using mods that, so that it doesn't give you that error. So, you know, you can do that easy enough. There's plenty of space to do that. So you could just kind of move this whole, shift this whole thing up and stack it on top. You know, easy enough to do. So, other than that, that is the build. I'm going to cancel here. And now it looks like maybe I did some black in there. Must have been color number 2 to be black. So I did red and then black and then the gray. But that is it. That's the build for the Red Dawn 3. And go out here and take a look at this pretty big machine. Pretty beefy. So, and I'm going to end this with a couple of clips of it flying around, doing some dogfighting and stuff, and also just flying around, and so you get a look at it from different directions. But thanks a lot. Take it easy. I'll catch you on the flip side.